I strongly believe that Volvo Ocean Race's ability to adapt, to change, to improve, and to be innovative is absolutely critical for our future.
So here goes. It's a little over 2 months since the finish of the 11th edition of the Volvo Ocean Race. And with it, the unprecedented announcement of a class change for the next 2 cycles. The move to new one design boats is one of the biggest changes in the history of a race that has always evolved. And that means it's a busy time for everyone at Race HQ in Alicante, Spain.
I think one of the good things is that everyone in the industry knows what we're trying to do, and everyone realises that actually the reason we're doing this on a tight schedule is because we have to have at least 8 boats ready for 2014. And what you'd normally do with one of these races is that everyone would go off and design and build their own boats, so you only have to, each team would only have to build 1 or possibly 2 boats in that whole period. And they know that we've got to build at least 8 in that period. So we have to get all of the design and all of the systems and everything sorted now.
Refining the design process will be continuous, and in future episodes we'll be visiting Far Yacht Design for an update. But for now, it's all go at Persico in Lombardy, Italy, where work has started on production of the One Design boats. Getting all the pieces in place will be critical. Persico project leader Mark Somerville explains that his team will be taking care of the largest component, the hull.
We're very good at making big parts here, having it semi-production as opposed to a one-off. There's implications, but there's other things which you can push into and try out, and we're pretty keen on doing that.
But before they can even start making hull number 1, they must make the mould. And before that, the plug for the mould. Essentially, the mould of the mould. Here we see the giant 5-axis cutter that will make the plug. A dramatic process that takes 3 days to cut the massive block of polystyrene into a usable shape.
Yeah, I think that's an important thing, absolutely, is having the people, and we are, I guess, essentially the first part of the puzzle is it's a big piece is building the hull.
The new One Design boats will be made between 4 key build facilities: Persico in Italy, Decision in Switzerland, Multiplast in France, with final assembly taking place at Green Marine in England. And over the next months, we'll be visiting all of these locations. But our next stop takes us to Multiplast in France, where the decks will be made.
The deck plug is under construction that will eventually take the deck mold off of. And the group that we have here today, comprised of sailors, boat builders, designers, riggers, is working together to finalize some of the details on that plug so that when we take the mold off, we have a product that reflects all of their input.
Joining Pat for the session in France is a star-studded cast of Volvo Ocean Race veterans and technical experts. None more so than Neil Cox, who has built and managed 3 campaigns.
In the good old days, as we keep always carrying on about, we would sit down amongst ourselves. We'd obviously come up with a very generic deck plan, and from there we would start the process of within the sailing team and myself, we would go through every different positional change, every different sailing configuration, every sail configuration, working on loadings, all that kind of stuff.
Camper skipper Chris Nicholson brings real-world experience that will be needed to ensure an even playing field for the entrants in the next edition of the race.
So what we see here, honestly, is it's just a bigger version of what would have happened in the previous races, where you come into the project at the design side of things and looking at systems and layouts, thinking that you've got to allow for the other 10 people in the crew last time. Now you've got to think of systems and boat for the other 80 or 90 people that is now essentially the crew.
For more build updates, stay tuned at volvooceanrace.com.